Well, you know what I've been doing all week long? Probably
no idea.
what everybody else is doing, watching the Olympics.
Absolutely.
It's just been great. I mean, these athletes are just fantastic. I mean, unbelievable. Michael Phelps, oh my gosh, he's winning all these things again. And so far, well, right now, we are one medal ahead of China. So we're in the lead. Go USA, USA, USA. Joe, come on. It's been exciting. No, really. It's fun to watch. It's just, it makes you have all this pride in America, and you're giving me this really strange look.
Why do you say that?
You're just kind of weird, maybe. I don't know. I just think it's so thrilling, and I want you to be excited about the Olympics, and your eyebrows are just crunched together, and you're shaking your head. What?
Listen,
What?
Let me be honest with you. There is something wrong with me, folks, and a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say.
No.
I have a heck of a problem with the Olympics. I have a heck of a problem with it. Oh, boy. Surprise, Radio Land. Yeah. Folks, let's get one thing straight. I mean, right? I am not against sports. I'm a veteran of 9 triathlons. All right. I have run marathons, duathlons. I've run hundreds and hundreds of 5K, 10K, and 15K races. In fact, my knees finally gave out about 5-6 years ago. I'm going for knee replacement in a few weeks. Totally destroyed my knees for the amount of work that I did. Biked across the state 13 times. Listen, I'm not against sports. In fact, the last race that I ran was in August. It was incredibly humid out. It was hilly. And my last race, I actually placed in my age category.
Wow, so, what, old geezer?
Old geezer's category.
Okay.
But so I don't want you to think that I'm anti-sport. Not at all. I said, I have a real problem with the Olympics. When I was in my favorite coffee shop, a friend of mine sat down. He started the same thing. Boy, the Olympics are great. I'm proud to be American. Don't you feel proud to be an American? I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, I love my country. I said, well, what do you mean by that? Well, he got angry with me, got up and walked away. I said, I don't understand what people mean. Well, I don't understand what people mean by that. Look, folks.
Okay.
The reason why people love sports is because it's perceived to be fair, right?
Right.
The AFL plays the NFL, all this other stuff. It's perceived to be fair. There are rules and regulations in every sport, right?
Mm-hmm. So sportsmanlike conduct.
Absolutely, and there's strict rules. You have men leagues, you have female leagues, depending on what you're doing. And then you come to the Olympics. And the Olympics are nothing but a show for nationalism. It's what they call jingoism, and that's nationalism with belligerence towards everyone else. And you know what? And what really bothers me about the Olympics, we very rarely, except for the Michael Phelps group and stuff like that, we very rarely know who won what. But like you said, we know we won. We have 26 gold medals, and we're one ahead of China. It's all this fake national pride, which I do not understand. When people say, I have pride in my country, I don't have pride in this country. I'll be honest with you. You can hang up if you want. I'm going to keep on broadcasting. I have no pride in this country anymore. How could I have pride in this? How could I have pride in this country when we take our impressionable young men and women, train them to be soldiers? I mean, basically to kill in warfare, and that's supposed to be for defensive purposes. We send them to lands all over the world. All over the world. We have 150,000 or 500,000 troops around the world occupying other nations. We have over 150 military bases in other countries. We occupy other countries, and the way we get there is that we pay off. We give payola to the dictators there who are subjugating the people. Now, am I supposed to be proud of that? We have a government that has stripped me of most of my constitutional rights. Am I supposed to be proud of that? We have an election system which is all rigged, and we have a legislation that is a bunch of criminals. Now, you want to say, I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. We should be absolutely disgusted of that. Now, let me get back to the Olympics.
Yeah.
What
games, does that have to do with the Olympics?
Right. In games, it has to be fair. See, in politics, it's not fair. Everything goes to them. We're just subjects. We just work, pay taxes, and pay them so that they have money to do whatever they want. Right? That's all it is, folks. Let's face it.
Like retire with full benefits.
They have everything. Healthcare, they have their own healthcare. They wouldn't be caught dead with the healthcare package that they've signed into office. They have their own. And let me tell you something. If they need a doctor, there's a rush of doctors over there. We have to wait in line. Don't tell me that this is fair. It's unfair. We have a totally unfair system here. It used to be fair, but it's been taken away from us, and we allow it to be taken away from us. And the more we think, oh, I love my country, the more we think of that, the more I'm convinced, we are a brainwashed bunch of idiots. Now, let me tell you why I think that I don't like the Olympics. I love the international games. I particularly like track and field. Love that. I can watch that all day long. Very few things I can really watch. I can watch track and field. Wow. Now, in high school, for example, and I won't mention any high schools, but there's a 1A high school here in the Tulsa surrounding area, very small school, that has a football team. They have such a small student body that they cannot field a whole team. They can. I mean, you need 22 people, and then you need backups. You got to have a backup quarterback. They don't. They have. In fact, most of the people on the offense have to play the defense. Now, they're in what they call 1A. That's the smallest category of school, right? So they play. Now, who do they play? They play other 1A teams.
Exactly.
Right? Same people, the same age categories, the 2A, 3A, 4A, but they play. Now, then you get powerhouses. Where my son went to school, it's a powerhouse football team. They win, sometimes they win the state championship. They field 44 people on the field. They have 2 or 3 backup quarterbacks. They have the best equipment. I mean, they have everything you could imagine. They're as close to the NFL as you can get.
And they can recruit. They can get the better players.
They can recruit absolutely from other parts of Tulsa. Now, what if the next football game we had a 5A powerhouse play a 1A team? Would that be fair?
That would not be fair.
Would not be fair.
No.
Okay. Now, you're sure of that? You're gonna stick by your guns on that?
Absolutely sure.
You're absolutely sure. And so when everyone say that, say, hey, that's not fair. Unless there was a breakdown not a breakdown, but a playoff where the 5A champ was decided on the championship game, and then the 4A wanted to play the 5A to see if they were better than the one step up. And that's voluntary. That's okay. But that's never done. But what do we do here in the Olympics? We take a nation like China, Russia, the United States, and guess what? We play against Nigeria. Nigeria would be considered your 1A team. The United States would be considered a 5A team. Why is that fair? It's not fair.
Okay.
It's just not fair. And then when we slaughter another team because now in China they take kids when they're 3 years old, thousands of kids, and they sort them out, and all they do is train them day after day. That's all they do to dive, to do whatever they have to do, gymnastics, and they have a phenomenal. They have 1.3 billion people. So they come up with the best of the best of the best, and now that they're they're becoming a relatively rich nation, they're spending more and more money on facilities, etc. For example, swimming is what they call an elite sport. I mean, Bangladesh does not have a swimming team. If they have a swimming team, they're out in the Indian Ocean, swimming. They're not in a swimming pool. It's an elite sport. Other countries cannot afford to compete. So when we say we have 26 gold medals and 15 silver, whatever, that's elitism. That's national elitism, and it's not right. The Olympics were intended originally to foster international harmony. in 1776, BC, folks, BC, okay, before the Common Era, as they call it, right? Right? That's when the first Olympics took place. At that time, everyone knew everybody. I mean, they were about equal. They had city-states playing against each other, and people knew all the people. That was a different ball game. It all changed back in 33 or 36 Olympics when they were held in Berlin, and Hitler used the Olympics, to show off, to further his cause, right?
Right.
And what happened? Jesse Owens, right? Was that the 100-meter? I forgot the 150 meter.
Don't ask me that. I just remember
Jesse
Owens won.
Owens won one of the races, and of
really
course,
upsetting.
him being a black man against the best German, Aryan race. That was it. And you had I've seen pictures of Hitler getting up and walking out of the stadium. Oh, okay, we had a glitch.
We had an interruption there.
That's okay. Okay, you owe me on that one. Okay, but you see my point. My point is that we've been using it for national pride. You know what? And it really pisses me off. It really does. What happened a few Olympics ago? We boycotted it. But wait a minute. This is supposed to be fair game. Fair. Harmony. We boycott them. And then, in spite, the Russians boycotted ours when we had ours here. This is politics at its height. It's jingoism at its height. It's belligerent nationalism at its height. And it's unfair. I don't want 1A teams playing 5A teams.
Hey, you know what, Joe? I bet some other people listening probably have something to say about it, too. Why don't you call us right now, 855-866-1170. Come on, don't be afraid. Just call in, 855-866-1170. What do you think?
Yeah. Now, I love watching the international games because the international games, all the athletes get there. Now, they're not categorized by country, but they'll have the name and then they'll have their country. But the country is not categorized. It's the person. And that's why I like international track and field. The Olympics take place every 4 years, right? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for every 4 years because it takes at least 4 years for a country to develop all of the infrastructure to host it. Now, you know what happened to Britain? Now, Britain is bankrupt. They are as bankrupt, if not more bankrupt than we are. Totally bankrupt, right? Nation. They decided they wanted to host, because it looked good. It's for this national pride crap, right? They were able to host the Olympics, and they said that they can do it for measly $4 billion.
B as in boy?
Yeah, billion. Yeah, they're not making $4 billion on this deal, I can tell you that. All right? So what happens, and how much did it cost them? Right now, it's over $15 billion. $15 billion. I saw one figure, and folks, please call me and correct me if I'm wrong. I heard a figure of $30 billion that they have spent, but I don't know I know the $15 billion is right. I'm not sure about the 30. But my point being is that when the Olympics are over, what are you left with, right? You're left leaving the citizens who are now literally broke with a 10 or 11 or 12 billion dollar additional debt, and plus useless, absolutely useless infrastructure that needs to be maintained.
Maybe
so I said,
Queen.
Am I happy? Am I happy? No, I'm not happy about that. I think that stinks, and I think countries who do that, including the United States, are wrong. They're wrong for doing that. Now, if you want to have an Olympics, that's fine, but none of this, all this fa-di-la. Do like the international games. There's a stadium there. You go to that stadium, you play. And that's it. And none of this crap, U.S. has 25 medals, the other one has 34 medals, and all that other crap. I want to see the people's names. I don't want to see how many medals each country has. You want to do that? Put that at the end.
Okay.
Other than that, I have no opinion on the Olympics whatsoever.
Hear, hear. Huh.
Well, it's so. But my problem with all of this is that's symptomatic of our culture. Our culture, we say something. I'm proud to be an American. I had a guy tell me that at the coffee shop. He said, your problem is you're not proud to be. I love my country. I love my. Did your mama bop you on the head when you were young? You don't love your country. What's wrong with you, boy? I said, what the heck do you mean by I don't love my country? And I asked this guy. I said, what do you mean by that? What do you love? I mean, when you say, what do you mean? He says, I love the mountains, and he said, I love the streams. And he says, I don't like the desert too much. This is a God's honest truth conversation. I said, guess what? I love this country more than you because I love the mountains, I love the streams, and I love the deserts. And the guy was dumbstruck. It's such a stupid thing. It's this mindless thinking. And we get that. We only can do that. We can only do that because we go to government schools that ensure that we never learn to think. Never learn to think. All we got to do is we have to learn to memorize and repeat. And now we're going on break.
If you want to join in on the conversation, call us or find us on Facebook or Twitter. Or visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
855-866-1170. Folks, I want to hear from you. Don't be afraid. I won't be nasty. I'm actually, I'm a hell of a nice guy. 855-866-1170. Especially if you disagree, please do call. Call right now.
It's okay. He won't bite.
I don't bite.
I've known him a pretty long time.
It's the problem. I wanted to finish this up, but I have a tendency not only to beat a dead horse, but I exhume the body and beat the hell out of it all over again about 3 or 4 times. I do.
I know.
But, there's a reason for that. Let me explain why. Here in America, what we do is we take a subject that's hot one week, we sort of discuss it, we go nowhere, we divide ourselves between right, left, up and down, moderates and all that, then we go on to the next one. And forever we are divided. I don't want to drop anything. If I was talking about something 3 weeks ago, I want to talk about it again. And I may talk about it for the next year, provided we get to a solution. I want to get to a solution. You see, in our school system, we are taught just to be obedient. We must be obedient. Don't think, because if you think, everything the government does is wacko, and there'll be a revolution. So they teach. The purpose of the school system is to ensure that you have very, very obedient citizens who will become very, very good consumers and do what they're told for the good of the state. Understand that. That is the only reason why we have government school systems. Only reason. Now, the problem, let me tell you the difference between my planet, where I come from, the planet Zorg. And, planet Zorg is a place just like Earth. In fact, it looks just like Earth. There's one difference. Everybody on that planet thinks critically, speaks logically. If you even slip, the slightest slip, they put you on a rocket ship, and there you go, off the planet, onto the planet Earth. So this is the insane asylum for Planet Zorg. But let me tell you another thing about Planet Zorg. Everybody on Planet Zorg took the red pill. That means the red pill. If you watch The Matrix, The Matrix is a movie that shouldn't be viewed as a movie. It should be our future. This is what we're heading for. This is exactly what the government's doing. If you take the red pill, you accept reality. You accept reality, but that means when you accept reality, you have to fight the system. If you take the blue pill, then they take you and use your body for energy, so you can be used to feed the system, the robots and stuff like that, right? Now, I don't understand too much about it, but I've watched the movie several times. But that's exactly what they're doing.
I missed it.
They're using us. They're using us to feed the system. And they can only feed the system if we take the blue pill. I'm asking everybody, cough up, throw up the blue pill, take the red pill. I want you to take the damn red pill. It's going to hurt, and you want to know something? You're going to be as happy as me when you do. Happy.
Happy.
Yeah.
You're sure about that?
Yeah.
Whew, we have a news break coming up, don't we?
Yeah, I know.
855.
Is that a call for us? I can take the call.
866-1170.
Okay, here we just lost our caller.
So, keep trying, people.
We have a technical. Well, I hope we have no technical problem. I want my hat back. But, folks, I'm very serious about that. It's very disturbing. It's incredibly disturbing. And you know this. When you speak to people and they say stupid things. I gave a speech the other day at a Rotarian club. Yeah, they invited me up. And I was telling them about things that we accept. It's like, I hate to say this, but I had another one.
I hate to hear it.
Well, no, my wife didn't want me to say this, but the only one I could think of for the time, do you enjoy beating your wife? There's no answer to it. There's absolutely no answer. You say, well, no, I don't. Yeah, that's what do you do it for? In other words, the indictment is already built into the statement, and
Exactly.
we do this all the time. When this guy said, but I'm proud of my country. Well, what do you mean by that? I'm proud that we won 25 gold medals, and one of them was against the kingdom of Nigeria. Please, we won that basketball game by, was it 68 or 86 points? I mean, it was embarrassing. But the Nigerians were good about it. They say, you know what? We feel privileged. We felt privileged being on the basketball court with the best team in the world. Now, that's a gentleman. If I was in Nigeria, I'd say, I am proud to be a Nigerian. What do? No, we shove it up everyone's nose, and if we don't win, and let me tell you another thing. I got to tell you another thing.
If we don't win.
I got a call. Okay, here we go. We got a couple of calls. Here we go. Jim, you're on the air.
Hey, Joe, Sally, how are you two this evening?
Right.
What's up, Jim?
Well, Joe, I have mixed feelings about the Olympics, and like to hear comments from both of you. I think, as you mentioned, having been an athlete myself, and who cannot appreciate world-class athletes competing on the Olympic stage? It's whatever. Pick your sport. It's some as amazing athleticism that's on display these couple weeks. But unfortunately, it started on the opening night. How nations can exploit these athletes in this event to promote their agenda and their nationalism and the patriotism. For example, in the opening ceremonies, which is always an extravaganza, in the London Stadium, they had a segment in which they had hundreds of little kids in beds with nurses next to it, and in big bright lights in the middle of the stadium, they had NHS for their national health system. What I don't quite understand how in an international sporting event, why the Britons had to try to promote their socialist healthcare system.
Jim, I can give you an answer. I'm going to interrupt you because I have an answer to that. Because it's not a sporting event. If you want a sporting event, go to the international games. Go to the World Games. Those are sporting events. The Olympics are not. The Olympics are strictly for the governments to tout how wonderful they are. Everything they're doing is great for their people, and they've subjugated everybody, and they're convincing the world how good they are. It's a con game. The whole Olympics is one big con game, and I love the athletes. I love watching the things. I hate the system, though. Thank you, Jim, for calling in. Appreciate it very much. I tell you. All right, we're going to take a break now. Call in 855-866-1170. 855-866-1170. Let me hear from you.
If you want to join in on the conversation, call us or find us on Facebook or Twitter. Or visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
Folks, this is Joe Cristiano, 855-866-1170. Look, I know the Olympics are on. It's really hot all over the place, but please, 855-866-1170, love to hear from you. Listen, people are going to complain and say, well, why did you spend so much time on the Olympics? Why did you change the subject? Because it's not about the Olympics. I want people to think it ain't about the Olympics. What the Olympics is a microcosm of everything else that we are being subjected to. Do you understand that? Please try to understand that. This is serious. While we are being diverted with being proud to be an American because of the Olympics, they're initiating gun control. There are 3 bills in the House right now. 3 bills in the House converting all personal 401k plans and IRAs, to a government pension plan so the government can get $8 trillion and they'll give us some sort of promise to pay type thing with some sort of interest rate. That's what we should be concerned about. This is what it's about. Right? Now, let me tell you another thing that I think is absolutely shameful. People say, well, look at the mother and the parents of the child who's winning, and they're so proud of their parents. I mean, if we're in the Olympics, how could you take that away from them and we get mush in the head, absolutely mush brain, But what they don't show you is they don't show you reality, because for every person who wins, one person who wins, and sometimes, by the way, they win by 1/100th of a second. Remember that. If you lose by 1/100th of a second, guess what? You're a loser. You're a loser. But you know what they don't show you is they don't show you the parents of the gold, silver medaler, the bronze, and all of the losers. And how about the tens of thousands of parents who put their heart and soul with their kids to try to make the Olympics, and they never made it? You don't see that. Put that stuff behind the curtain. We want fairyland. This America is fairyland. Here, we got a caller. Caller on. Whoops,
thank goodness.
There we go. Oh, not yet. Can we pick up line one? Okay. Can we pick up?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Chip.
Yeah. Well, I just told your screener that I just thought the Olympics was just a athletic event of the UN. It just reminds me of the same thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad, Chip, that you remember. You're mentioning that as part of it because it's all the same. It's the same club. We give different names to different organizations. It's one big organization. When are we going to wake up to that? Someday, some morning, we're going to wake up to that, Chip, and something's going to happen. Don't ask me what it is. I have no idea. And people go, oh, my God, how could this have happened? What do you mean, how could it? If you listen to Liberty Talk Radio, you'll know exactly why it happened, you know? Jeez.
Well,
take your blood pressure medicine.
I'm glad you took my call, and I appreciate what y'all doing.
Hey, Chip, thank you.
Thanks,
Chip, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because this is Olympic night, and we're not getting many calls. It's really bothering me. I usually get barraged with calls. You know, I'll tell you, send me an email to comments@libertytalkradio.com. Provide me with a mailing address and a T-shirt size, and I'm going to send you a complimentary, an official Liberty Talk Radio T-shirt. How about that?
Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Please do. Thank you very much.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you, Chip.
Chip.
I have to appreciate this guy broke away from the stupid boob tube to do that. That's great.
Exactly.
You know what I saw today, though? But what I did see today, I saw the 10,000 meters. See, I used to run 10,000 meters.
Oh, my
God. And I see
gosh.
now these guys are way above my talent. But 10,000 meter races are tough because they're very, very fast. You're almost going full speed for 6.2 miles. I tell you, I can remember every 10,000 meter race I ran. One was the Diet Pepsi 10,000, and it was all tremendous hills. And I ran one of my best races, you know. It was a phenomenal race. It's a killer. But you know what? All the people in front were from Kenya, Ethiopia, places like that. I thought that was great because, see, they had the facilities to run. They can just get out there and run, and they're very good at it. The guys weigh about 35 pounds. You
exactly.
Know, so great, you know?
My career in running ended. It started and ended in 7th grade when we had to run the 440. And after I ran the whole arena, puked out a lung, I decided running is not for me. So I really respect these people that can do it.
Well, I think
I'd love to be that thin.
I think the whole thing about the Olympics is cruel. It's cruel to everybody. How do you think this fosters goodwill? How do you know people who are poor countries who are being absolutely schlonked at the
Joe,
Olympics by all the big powerhouses, the 5A teams, and they come back and they go, well, we love those countries. They're really good. No, they're saying, this is not fair. And the whole thing is life isn't fair. And then the person in charge of their country is someone we're supporting with our military, And you got to say, I wonder why they hate us. Am I proud to be American? Let me go on official. Absolutely not, folks. Not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. All right, what else do we have, Sally?
Ouch.
Other than that,
I can't think now. Oh, here come those guys again. Those two men wearing the white jackets, and they have that one little one with straps all over it for you.
Well, other than that, I have no opinion about the Olympics. Let's get on to something
all right.
else, okay?
Let's talk about money. Money. Everybody's a little short of money right now. I wanted to ask you seriously a question about. It's what I call fuzzy math. Wasn't that George Bush that always talked to senior? Anyway, he kept talking about fuzzy math. Anyway, all the politics, the campaigning, they're talking about let's tax the rich, tax the rich. Okay, just my simple mind on math. If somebody is making $50,000 a year, okay, and let's say their tax rate is 10%, okay, let's just say that's the tax rate, 10% for everybody. They would pay $5,000 in taxes. 50,000, 5,000, okay. If another person is making $5 million a year and they're taxed 10%, they're paying $500,000. Now, aren't the rich already paying more? Are they getting out of it?
Oh, no, well, see.
How does this work out?
This is such a complicated issue because no one understands the tax code. When I say no one, I'm including the IRS agents, the people who write it. They do not understand it. What you're talking about, Sally, your example, is very akin to the fair tax. Now, the fair tax, to me, is a great way to go. It will never happen. First of all, the reason why rich people proportionally, percentage-wise, pay less is because they're not paying income tax. They're paying capital gains tax.
Like
Warren Buffett.
Like Lee Iacocca he paid himself $1 a year.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
That's right.
Yeah. So
because,
they're not really getting salary.
If you cash in, you got $50 million, and these guys are mega wealthy, and you cash in $1 million that year, and it's capital gains, you pay 15%. But if you're making $150,000 a year, and you're on a salary, you're going to be paying close to 34%. Well, of course, the rich guy, but it's not that it's unfair because that's eligible to everybody. It's unfortunate that the people who are just making very, very little money don't have the opportunity to invest, and they don't have that. However, they're given tax breaks today that they're not even paying any taxes. It is a cluster screw up beyond all beliefs. Let me say how we should solve this problem. There are books written this. It's called the fair tax. That means you pay a sales tax. There'll be no more income tax. And what's nice about that, the government doesn't have to know every damn thing that you're doing. You just pay.
Amen to that.
Yeah, you just pay a sales tax. if you buy a yacht and a yacht is $40 million, whatever, and you got to pay, I forgot what the fair tax is, like 23%. You wouldn't have the regular sales tax. It's just 23% total, right? That means you would pay $8 million in taxes by the boat. However, for poor people, there would be no tax on fuel, no tax on food, for example. And so the poor people, people of lower incomes will benefit by that, but so does everyone benefit equally, even the rich. The rich, when they go to the store to buy a head of lettuce, they're not going to pay any tax. But when someone who is relatively poor buys a head of lettuce, they're not going to pay any tax. Everything is fair. Now, I'm going to tell you.
That sounds fair.
How it really should work. And folks, you're going to hate me forever for saying this, but I'm saying this just as a point.
If we don't already.
You'll hate me more than ever. As a point of reference, that's all. But if you really want to have a society that wants to strive to do better, you shouldn't tax the rich. You should tax the poor. Now, I'm not suggesting we do this. That's right.
What?
That makes no sense,
right?
What
are you saying?
Well, the logic here is that if you're poor and you are being taxed, and you're saying the only way that I can get rid of this high tax rate is to make more money, to succeed, guess what? You're giving people an incentive to succeed. And what's happening now? People who are on the lower end don't pay any tax. However, if they succeed, they're going to start paying tax, and they say, well, I got to work that much harder. I'll make that much more money, but that money will go to taxes because I'm not paying the taxes. So I'll stay where I am. The tax system we have now breeds stagnation and not success. That's the problem with it. But you make a good point. You bring out a good point. We should have a fair tax. Everyone pays a sales tax, no income tax at all. Government doesn't know a thing that we're doing. No forms to fill out. Nothing at the end of the year. You don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds, sometimes $1,000 to attorneys and to tax accountants to do your taxes in the year like I have to. That's stupid, And we're going to go on a break. 855-866-1170. Let me hear from you.
If you want to join in on the conversation, call us or find us on Facebook or Twitter. Or visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
Here's Sally. Actually, we'd like for you to join in on the conversation. 855-866-1170. Give us a call. We're talking about anything you want to talk about. We've been covering the Olympics, and now we're talking a little bit about money. Joe, you brought something up last week that I thought was fascinating, how we could divorce ourselves from the system money-wise by doing what?
Sally, listen, you have to recognize that the system is rotten and it's designed to work against you. The whole system, I know it sounds wacko, like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, but watch it. Just watch it. Everything is designed to work against us. We have an electoral system that makes absolutely no sense. 49.9% of the people vote for one person and 50.1% vote for the other person, or even gets one vote difference. One person picks up all the marbles and no one else. There is no party out there. You can't even get a party to get on the ballot that says none of the above, because that person would always win. You see, the system is rigged. It's rigged to make us believe we have a free enterprise, a democratic constitutional republic, and we don't. We have a system. We have basically, we're teetering on fascism. We have big business and big government collecting all the money, divvying it up, and we're paying for it all and going into debt. That's all we have.
So what? But remember what you were talking about last week. You said about
all right,
if we just save nickels.
Right. Now, understand that you have to. I say that because you have to divorce yourself from the system in every way possible. Like I talked about buying nickels. It sounds crazy, but just think: a nickel is a coin. It's a poor man's silver, if you will. Now, what if all your money was in silver? You'd say, hey, geez, I'd be rich today. Yeah, just think that the nickel is 75% copper, 25% nickel, the same weight and composite as it was in 1866, and is the only coin. And now Washington is trying to devalue the nickel. And their point, and I heard this congressman, I curled my hair. I have no hair, by the way. But it really aggravated me. This
you got that right.
This guy said, it's unconscionable. It's unconscionable that we are minting coins that cost us more money than the value of the coin itself.
Of the coin itself?
Yeah, of the denomination, yeah. So right now, if you have a nickel, it costs the government about 11 cents to make. Round figure, depending on, it changes every day. About 11 cents. Well, hell, take all your money, buy nickels, you double your money. Right? Now, if there is deflation, let's assume we go through deflation, the nickel is still a nickel. It can buy 5 cents worth of stuff. But you can buy more in a deflationary environment with a nickel because all the prices go down. But in an inflationary environment, yeah, now there's still a nickel, won't buy much, but I tell you, people would love to own nickels. They say, Sally, can I buy a few nickels from you?
No.
Oh, I can't. No, the government doesn't allow me to. They're $2 each. But I mean, really, it's like buying silver and gold. Only it's a cheap man's silver and gold. That's a way of divorcing yourself from the system. Start your own central bank. Another way of doing it is buying food go to a place that sells things like freeze-dried foods, or even better, can your own foods, dehydrate food, put them in sealed packages. It doesn't cost anything. It takes a little bit of work. In the event something should happen, and folks, someday something is going to happen. We're going to have a bank holiday or something, and everything is going to shut down. And if you're not prepared, I tell you, you are going to be hurt. You may even starve. And what they're going to do is they're going to put people away who are not very cooperative in internment camps. We already have them set up in almost every state. Believe me,
you
this
said
is real.
Something about a manual that you actually saw.
I have it home. It's a manual. It's a half-inch thick or an inch thick. No, more. It's about 2 inches thick, and explains details. You think you were reading a Russian Gulag manual about how you treat people, how you control the people, what kind of uniforms they wear. It is like
in an internment camp.
Yeah, in an internment camp, and it's here in Oklahoma. I mean, they're all over the place. There's 3 of them in Oklahoma, and they cost a fortune. And the sorrowful part is, you know who mans them?
Who?
Americans. Oh, we do have a caller, and I'm not sure if we have enough time for him. We have a caller, but caller, I'm sorry, we don't have enough time for you. Thank you very much for calling. Do call in next week, okay? We appreciate it.
Also, I want to mention, if you want to see the show, see it on TV, on the internet, all you have to do is go to our website, libertytalkradio.com. libertytalkradio.com.
Right, you can get
go
all
to
the
website.
Archives. And from there, you can go to the KFAQ website and get the archives from there, or you can get everything from our website. It's all there. It's still semi under construction. We're always improving it to make sure that you can have an
and
opportunity.
You can always write into the show as well.
Yeah.
Send it to comments, COMMENTS, okay, just in case. Comments at libertytalkradio.com.
Okay. And thank you very much for listening to
Yeah, thanks. This was fun.
Thank you very much, Sally, and Stay well.
I'm going to wipe your brow now. You're sweating a lot.
All right. Stay well. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Freedom with Joe Cristiano. Tune in Sunday morning at 6 on 1170 KFAQ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also, you can hear Joe by visiting our website at libertytalkradio.com.